My name is Sarah Donnelly. I'm 32 years old. And 3 weeks ago, my mother-in-law slid a sealed envelope across the dinner table in front of the whole family, smiled like she was about to watch me burn, and said, "Let's stop pretending. We all need to see if this child is even my son's." What happened next didn't just destroy her plan. It detonated 33 years of lies she thought she'd buried forever. Before I take you back, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I read every single one. My husband Colin and I have been married 6 years. We live in Stamford, Connecticut, 12 minutes from his mother Christine's house. I'm a nurse practitioner. Colin works in software engineering. Our 3-year-old daughter Nora has Colin's jawline and my dark hair, and she is everything to us. Christine is 60 years old, retired school administrator, active in her church, her neighborhood association. Everyone who knows her calls her a saint, a devoted single mother who sacrificed everything to raise her boy alone. I used to believe that too. Christine hosted monthly dinners. Same table, same seating, same menu she controlled. She always held Nora on her lap, complimented her dress, then found a way to remind me I was never quite enough. One evening, she was flipping through photos on her phone, pictures she'd taken of Nora during babysitting. "Look at her," she said, zooming in. "She looks just like you when you were little, Colin. Exactly like you." She said it warmly, but something about the way she studied Nora's face, comparing, not admiring, stayed with me. I also noticed that in every single photo, it was just Christine and Nora. Colin wasn't in one. I let it go. Back then, I let a lot of things go. Christine babysat Nora regularly. She was good with her. I never questioned that. Until one night, I came home from a 12-hour shift and found Christine in the bathroom, pulling hair from Nora's brush and dropping it into a small Ziploc bag on the counter. "What's that for?" I asked. She didn't miss a beat. "Oh, I read you can press children's hair into a scrapbook. A keepsake." She smiled. The bag disappeared into her purse. I didn't think about it again. Not then. A few weeks later, Christine asked me to grab her insurance card from her wallet. I unzipped it, flipped past her credit cards, and stopped cold. A receipt from Life Code Genetics. Dated 5 weeks earlier. $349. Kinship DNA analysis. 3 samples submitted. Christine lives alone. I stood there with the receipt in my fingers and my pulse in my throat. 3 samples. Christine,
Nora,
and Colin, who had left his toothbrush at her house after Thanksgiving. I put the receipt back exactly where it found it. I handed her the insurance card and said nothing. That night, I searched Life Code Genetics. A grandparent kinship test compares DNA and calculates shared percentages. A biological grandmother shares roughly 25% with a grandchild. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark. I didn't tell Colin. Not yet. 2 weeks before the dinner, I was at Christine's house picking up Nora after a shift. Christine was on the phone in the kitchen. She didn't hear me come in. "The results should be back by now," she said.
low voice.
Not her church voice. "I'll handle it at the dinner. He needs to see it with everyone there. That way he can't sweep it under the rug. I need witnesses." She turned and saw me. Her face rearranged itself in under a second. "Oh, Saras, I didn't hear you. Just talking to my dentist about a crown." She laughed.
Light.
"Practiced." I smiled back and collected Nora. Christine had lied to me without hesitation, without effort.
That told me more than the receipt had.
When she called Colin to announce a special dinner, inviting the whole family, I already knew exactly what she was planning. She was going to open that envelope in front of everyone. She was going to present the DNA results, perform concern, and watch me burn. She was building a stage. She just didn't know I'd already read the script. I spent 2 days studying kinship DNA. If Christine's results came back at 6 or 7% instead of 25, she wasn't Nora's grandmother. She was something else entirely. Something the family tree didn't account for.
Sunday arrived.
White colonial, blue shutters, American flag by the front door. The kind of house that looks like a family photograph from the outside. Christine greeted Nora first, always Nora first. Then she looked at me. "Saras, glad you could make it." Like attendance was optional, and I should be grateful. After the salad course, she stood, reached under her chair, and pulled out a white envelope. I believe in family, she said, smoothing her blouse. I believe in truth. And I think it's time we all had some. She slid the envelope toward Colin. She was smiling, that same smile from the night she brushed Nora's hair. Confident, rehearsed. Colin opened it. 2 pages. He read the first one. Page 1. Paternity analysis. Result. Biological father-child relationship confirmed. Probability of paternity, 99.98%. Christine's smile widened.
She looked at me.
She expected that to be the setup. She expected page 2 to finish me. But Colin was already reading page 2, and his face was changing. Page 2. Kinship analysis. Christine Aldridge and minor child N. Aldridge. Submitted relationship. Grandmother. Result. Tested individuals share approximately 6.2% of DNA. This is consistent with a great-aunt relationship. This is not consistent with a grandparent. Expected. Approximately 25%. Colin read it twice. I watched his eyes move across the same line both times. The room was still loud.
Someone was laughing about something.
Christine was pouring more wine, still riding the high of her performance. Colin looked up. He didn't look at me. He looked at her.
Mom.
What is this? It's the test, sweetheart. I told you. Page 2, he said quietly, placing it on the table facing her. You share 6% of your DNA with Nora. That's great-aunt range, not grandmother. He paused. If Nora is my daughter, and she is 99.98%, and you share 6% with her instead of 25. He didn't finish the sentence.
He didn't need to.
Then you're not my mother. Nobody was laughing now. Christine's wine glass hit the table. Red wine spread across the white cloth like a wound. 6.2%, I said quietly. Everyone turned to me. That's not a lab error. That's biology. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've read lab reports for 10 years. 6% is an answer. Christine stared at me. For the first time in 6 years, she had nothing to say. Colin walked out. I followed. Christine came after us, heels on hardwood. Colin, please. I can explain. You don't know what I sacrificed for you. He didn't stop. We drove home in rain. Colin didn't speak for 20 minutes. Then, quietly, he said, she's my aunt. My mother is someone else. Someone who existed. Someone she never told me about. He picked up his phone. Texted Donna, his grandmother. Grandma, please. I need to know. The next morning, Christine called. Colin put her on speaker. Your birth mother, she said, voice raw. Her name was Tammy. She was my younger sister. She was troubled, Colin. Drugs, unstable, couldn't hold a job. When you were born, I stepped in. I was the one feeding you, bathing you, getting up in the night. And then she died. A car accident. You were 14 months old. I took you because there was no one else. I gave up my 20s. I gave up getting married. I gave up everything so you could have a real life.
She paused.
And now you want to punish me for loving you. I watched Colin's face. I saw the pull. 33 years of mom pulling against 48 hours of truth. Maybe she's right, he said after he hung up. Maybe it was better this way. Maybe, I said. Or maybe she's had 33 years to rehearse that story. He looked at me. I looked back. There's something you should know. I told him about the receipt, the Ziploc bag, and the genetic carrier screening she'd killed 2 years ago when she'd called our doctor's office directly and talked Colin out of it. She wasn't being cheap, I said. She was preventing any test that would compare your DNA to hers. I searched newspaper archives that afternoon. For minutes later, I found it. Torrington Register Citizen, November 1993. Tammy Aldridge, 25, died in a single-vehicle accident on Route 8. Survived by her mother, Donna Kessler, her sister Christine Aldridge, and her infant son. Infant son. Listed under Tammy's survivors. Not Christine's. Tammy's. No drug arrests. No CPS filings. No court records matching Christine's description of a troubled, dangerous woman. Just a short obituary for someone's daughter, someone's mother, preserved in 20 words of newsprint. I drove to Bridgeport on a Wednesday. Colin was at work. Nora was at daycare. I told no one where I was going. Donna's assisted living room was small. When she opened the door and saw my face, something in her expression aged all at once. Like she'd been waiting 33 years for someone to knock with that exact look.
Saras, she said. Donna.
I know about Tammy. Her hands started shaking. She stepped aside and let me in. She told me everything. Tammy wasn't troubled. She wasn't unstable. She was 24 years old, working 40 hours a week at a diner in Torrington, raising her son alone, and doing it. She was tired, but she was doing it. She called Colin my beautiful boy. She sang to him while she did the dishes. She was just young and she died. Black ice on Route 8. November 1993. Colin was with Donna that night. Tammy had dropped him off so she could work the late shift. Christine was listed as Colin's emergency guardian. She'd helped with the baby, that part was true. But after Tammy died, Christine didn't just step in. She stepped over. 6 weeks after the funeral, she applied for adoption. Told Donna it was for legal protection. Donna was drowning in grief. She signed the papers without reading them. Christine requested a new birth certificate. The state of Connecticut issued one with Christine's name as mother. Tammy's name removed. Legally. Officially. Permanently. Then Christine moved 62 miles away to Stamford, far enough that no one from Tammy's world would ever cross paths with Colin again. I should have fought her, Donna said. But I just lost my daughter. And Christine made it sound like she was protecting him. She looked out the window. Then it was 10 years. Then 20. Then 30. And by then the lie was the only thing holding us together. Before I left, Donna walked to her closet and pulled down a small Navy photo album. I kept these, she said. Christine doesn't know. She opened it. Tammy at every stage. Pregnant, smiling. In a hospital bed holding a newborn with dark hair. Sitting on a porch swing with a baby on her chest, both of them sleeping in the sun. On the back of one photo, in blue pen, Tammy's handwriting. My beautiful boy. March 1992. Take it, Donna said. Give it to Colin. I'm tired of carrying it. She told me one more thing before I left. Christine kept original documents in a gray lockbox in her basement, behind the Christmas decorations, bottom shelf. Colin was home when I got back. I set the album on the table. Before Donna calls tonight, I said, I need you to go to your mother's house.
Basement.
Bottom shelf. Behind the Christmas boxes. Gray lockbox. What am I looking for? You'll know when you find it. He was gone 45 minutes. When he came back, he set a gray metal box on the table, and his face looked like it had been rebuilt from scratch. Inside, his original birth certificate. Mother, Tammy Aldridge. The adoption decree. Petitioner, Christine Aldridge. Relation to child, maternal aunt. And at the very bottom, a sealed envelope, never opened, addressed in handwriting that was looser and younger than Christine's neat capitals. To my beautiful boy. Tammy had written to her son. Christine had kept it sealed in a box for 33 years. Colin held it for a long time before he opened it. I stood at the counter and gave him space. Some moments don't need witnesses. They need air. He read it. Then he sat down at the kitchen table and cried in a way I hadn't seen in 6 years. Not loud, not dramatic. The kind of crying that comes from somewhere so deep it doesn't have a sound yet. He told me the last line. Later. I'll share it because it's the line that matters. If anything ever happens to me, know that you were loved. You were wanted. You were mine. She wrote that when Colin was just a few months old, before the accident, before Christine decided that being an aunt wasn't enough. She loved me, Colin said. My mother loved me. And Christine just took that away. There was also a journal in the box. Christine's handwriting. An entry dated 3 weeks after Tammy's funeral. He's with me now. This is how it was supposed to be. Tammy couldn't give him what I can. He'll never have to know. She didn't agonize. She didn't wrestle with it. She decided Tammy wasn't good enough, took what she wanted, and wrote about it like it was destiny. The doorbell rang at 9 that night. Christine walked straight past Colin and into the kitchen. She saw the lockbox, the open birth certificate, Donna's album. Her face went through something. Surprise, then calculation, then a last grab for control. "Everything I did," she said, gripping the back of a chair, "I did because I loved him more than she could have. I was better for him." Tammy was a 24-year-old waitress. "I gave him schools. I gave him a neighborhood. I gave him—" "You gave him a lie," Colin said. "Get out." She left. But I knew she wasn't done. A woman who'd maintained a fiction for 33 years doesn't stop after one bad night. We held a family meeting the following Saturday. Our house. Our table. Our chairs. Christine arrived in a navy blazer and pearl earrings, like she was walking into a board meeting. She scanned the room, sat down at the far end, folded her hands, and spoke first. "Everything I did out of love." Colin's birth mother was my sister. She was troubled, incapable of caring for a child. When she died, I stepped in. That's what family does. I raised him. I gave him a life. And I don't regret a single day. She'd been practicing. The room was considering it. Two neighbors nodded slightly. Then Colin placed the DNA report on the table. Flat.
Calm.
My mother ordered a DNA test on my daughter. She wanted to prove my wife cheated. The results confirmed I'm Nora's biological father. He opened to page 2. They also confirmed Christine shares 6.2% of her DNA with Nora, consistent with a great aunt, not a grandmother. He placed the original birth certificate next to it. "This is my birth certificate before Christine had a new one issued. Mother, Tammy Aldridge." Christine's jaw was tight.
Her knuckles had gone white.
Then Donna stood. It took her a long time. She gripped the edge of the table with both hands, 82 years old, shaking but standing. "Tammy was my younger daughter," she said. She was Colin's mother. She worked 40 hours a week, and she loved that baby more than she loved herself. Donna's eyes found Christine. When Tammy died, Christine adopted him and then erased her. Changed the birth certificate. Moved away. Rewrote everything. And she told me that if I ever spoke the truth, she'd take Colin for me too. Donna let the tears fall without wiping them. I stayed silent for 33 years because I was afraid and I was grieving. But I am speaking now. She looked at Colin. "And I am so sorry." I placed Tammy's album on the table. The photograph. Young Tammy, dark hair, sharp jawline, holding newborn Colin against her chest. On the back, in her own handwriting, "My beautiful boy. March 1992. Then the sealed envelope beside it. Tammy wrote this to Colin before she died. Christine kept it locked in her basement for 33 years. She never gave it to him. The room went completely still. Then Christine spoke, and what she said changed everything. "I deserved him." Her voice came out raw, stripped of composure. "Tammy couldn't even keep an apartment clean. I had a degree. I had a house. I had structure. I could give him everything she couldn't. I deserved to be his mother." She heard herself. I watched her hear it. Not "I loved him." Not "I saved him." I deserved him. As if a child were something to be earned. Something owed to a woman with a degree over a 24-year-old waitress who died on black ice. Nobody in that room looked at Christine the same way again. "You didn't save him," I said, keeping my voice level. "You took him. And then you spent 33 years making sure he never found out. That's not love. That's ownership." Colin stood. He reached for Donna's hand. She took it. "We're done," he said. "Don't contact us. Don't come to our house. Don't call." He walked to the front hall, picked up Nora, and carried her out. I gathered the documents, the album, the letter, the birth certificate, the journal. I was the last to leave the kitchen. Christine was still sitting at the table. She hadn't moved. Everything spread in front of her like an autopsy of a life she'd spent 3 decades pretending didn't exist. I stopped at the doorway, not to say anything, just to look. I'd spent 6 years trying to earn this woman's approval. 6 years of swallowed comments, of "she means well," of slow erosion. My instincts had told me from the beginning something was wrong. They were right. They were always right. I didn't look back. The weeks after were quiet. Christine's calls stopped on the fourth day. Colin blocked her number. She sent one email, switching between apology and accusation in the same paragraph. He read 3 lines and deleted it. Christine stopped attending church. Stopped going to the neighborhood association. The woman who'd spent 30 years building a reputation as a devoted mother sat alone in a white colonial with blue shutters and nothing left to say. Donna seemed lighter. She called Colin every few days, not to rehash anything, just to talk. The weather.
Nora.
What she'd had for lunch. Small things. The things you talk about when you're no longer carrying something heavy. She told Colin stories about Tammy. The way she burned pancakes every Saturday and ate them anyway. The way she held Colin in one arm and stirred soup with the other. The way she'd point out birds from her apartment window and name them all wrong on purpose, just to make him laugh. Look, that's a tiger. Donna had been saving those stories for 33 years. On a Saturday in early spring, we drove to Torrington. We found Tammy's grave at Hillside Cemetery. A simple gray headstone, level with the ground. Tammy Aldridge, 1968 to 1993. Beloved daughter and mother. Beloved mother. Even in death, her headstone called her what Christine had spent 33 years trying to erase. Colin stood in front of the stone for a long time. Nora was on his hip, pointing at a bird in the oak tree above them. She didn't understand where we were.
She didn't need to.
Not yet.
He knelt, touched the granite.
Traced the letters of her name like he was learning to spell it for the first time. Hi, he said quietly.
Just that.
He placed a small piece of paper by the headstone. A drawing Nora had made that morning. Scribbles in red and blue crayon, with the word family written across the top in wobbly uppercase letters. He'd helped her spell it. I stood beside them and took a photograph. Colin, Nora, and Tammy's headstone. The first real family photo. All of them together. Nobody erased. Christine spent 33 years hiding a woman who loved her son more than anything. She removed Tammy's name from a birth certificate, locked her letter in a box, hid her photographs, and moved 62 miles to make sure Colin never found out. She thought she'd buried Tammy, so deep no one would ever find her. But the truth doesn't stay buried. It waits. And when it finally came up holding a letter, a photograph, and a name that was always supposed to be spoken out loud. Tammy Aldridge was Colin's mother, and now her granddaughter will know her name. If someone in your family has been forgotten, their name unspoken, their story rewritten, say their name in the comments. They deserve to be remembered.